Why did people do everything for Mark Dice and nothing for me? For example, he has written a book called Big Brother: Orwellian Nightmare Come True. The thing is, the book is so concise that I really think he just paraphrased material out of easily researched articles on the internet and Wikipedia. It talks about security cameras and facial recognition and AI robots and nanny state government, but it goes over the topics so swiftly that I could have written this in a couple of days by Googling relevant data and just regurgitating it out in my own words. If you want something really comprehensive on the subject, this is not it. This book is like an overview, and it was written in 2011, and with the pace of technology, it's probably more than a little outdated. While I have to commend him for taking up the topic, the author doesn't give his opinion about it in the book, instead just belting out a bunch of examples, which makes me wonder if he really cares about this topic, or is he simply trying to capitalize on it because it's attention-grabbing. I've talked about this subject on YouTube forever, but I also provide solutions. I've even intimated things like people going out and outright smashing security cameras in acts of vandalism as a solution. I also envision laws being passed where using digital evidence, whether they are online communications or video, should be illegal for police to use in order to prevent the Orwellian nightmare, since we have no choice but to be recorded on video when we go in public. I want to keep the classic privacy and freedoms like in the 1980s, when you are out in public. I bet Mark Dice is a hypocrite on this. He writes the book because it's an attention-getting topic, but I bet in reality he'd still put up security cameras on his house, and he'd no doubt prefer that places are covered by CCTV, so his stupid ass feels more safe, and he actually feels it's okay that people should be arrested if they say something that is illegal to say on social media, with the social media posting being used as proof. That's why he doesn't offer any solutions to the Orwellian nightmare in his book, like I would have done, because he really doesn't give a shit about it. Yet he is appreciated more than I am. He is given more subscribers than me. He is not treated like shit by strangers as much as I am. I write a fictional novel about a mentally ill, rebellious person that is as good as the collaborative works done by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. I also sell it for way less online than Mark Dice's book, and nobody buys it. However, this asshole sells his tiny book with information that can be easily found online for free, that he just paraphrased out of Wikipedia probably, selling it for double the price of my book electronically, and a paperback version for a ridiculous $16.98. Look at the glowing reviews he receives and the money he receives. Where are all the glowing reviews from the assholes who bought his book for my videos on anti-Orwellian topics? I bet this fucking Mark Dice, if he saw a crime happening, he'd record it with his phone and send the video to the police. So much for him being anti-Big Brother, if he really is. I instead would conceal the evidence because I don't believe in digital video being used as evidence. This nerd is also way too patriotic and way too easily offended. He is bitching about this mattress store that made a 9/11 sale commercial. They stack mattresses like twin towers, and then a pair of guys fall against the mattresses, and the mattress stack comes crashing down. The commercial actually cracked me up, but this fucking nerd was all serious and straight-faced and offended and outraged. If my business was doing poorly, I would make the same kind of commercial to grab attention because I would be fucking angry that my business is doing poorly. I would like to make a 9/11 commercial to sell my James Grider novel, where I will stack random books side by side in a pair of stacks, a pair of tall stacks, so they represent the World Trade Center. Then I would get a toy airplane and throw it at one book stack, knocking it over, and then throw the toy airplane at another book stack, knocking it over. But I don't have a toy airplane, and while I have a shit ton of pirated books sitting on my iPod, I don't have any physical books to stack. Then Mark Dice would make a video bitching about me being insensitive. Now here is another video where he complains about a Mexican kid making death threats toward Donald Trump. I am so pro-freedom, I have defended an ability for people to make death threats with impunity. It is very important and therapeutic to have such a freedom. There are so many people that are very low on the totem pole. I mean, they're nothing. They're poor, they're not celebrities, they're not captains of industry or politicians, they have no clout, they're not even big on YouTube. So when they get enraged at something in politics, what are they supposed to do with all that building up anger? They can't go out and send out a lobbyist like a billionaire captain of industry can if they don't like some piece of legislation. But they can still become filled with a compulsion to act, to change things, to fix things, but they don't have tons of money or political sway. All they have is their words and maybe a gun if they own one, or a knife and a social media account. And if a terroristic threat might intimidate some great political power and sway it in your favor, then it's a very precious tool for all to have at their disposal. Terroristic threats could keep an out-of-control government in check, and any other entities in check that you think are treating you unfairly. Now, whether you agree with this kid's hate of Donald Trump or not is irrelevant. What's relevant is we should all have freedom to say whatever we wish with impunity. Yeah, he doesn't like Trump, but Mark Dice doesn't like Hillary. If Hillary becomes president, why wouldn't Mark Dice wish to have the ability to vent his rage at Hillary and intimidate her with impunity the way this kid is doing at Trump. See, I'm a fair individual. I want everyone to have this freedom, and that includes giving the freedom to speak like that to people who I disagree with. Which side you're on is not important. What's important is having this freedom that if you're upset at something, or you're mentally ill, you have a bipolar disorder, a compulsion to say threats that you can't control, you can spout death threats openly and not fear going to jail. This way, if a troll is bothering you, you can spout death threats at the troll to intimidate them away. But the way the law stands now, even if the troll assumes that you are mad enough to kill them, if you were to write those words to the troll, it would give him power to treat you even worse by calling the cops on you just to have you arrested so he can get a kick out of it. See the irony in that? Mark Dice does not, because he's unimaginative and stupid. Here again he berates a woman who was upset at the cops, and she got a shotgun and had a standoff with police and was threatening to kill her own child if the cops broke into her apartment to arrest her, and they did break in and they shot her dead. I don't care about Black Lives Matter, and I don't care about race, but everyone should be able to relate to the concept of not wanting to be taken away against your will by police. Just watching CSI for several years should have made you hate the police. Life is hard in the ghetto, and it's hard in general outside the ghetto. You can be born with mental illness where you don't handle stress as well as some spoiled, wealthy soccer mom can. So you get enraged and you commit assault on an asshole. Life must already suck if you end up breaking the law. So why would you want to have police officers, those Blue Lives Matter people, coming in and fucking up your life even more? You might lose your job because you ended up in jail, and it just puts you on a downward spiral. Let's say you are upset that cameras exist. You are angry at the world becoming Orwellian. So life sucks, right? You are angry. The world is Orwellian. Life is not pleasant. So you smash a random security camera in rage. Why should your life then be made even worse when you get arrested for vandalism and you're just supposed to go along with that? Or maybe life sucks for you because Trump is president. Or life sucks for you because Hillary is president. And you make a video threatening their lives to combat the rage and helplessness stewing within you like this kid did. Then what? Are you supposed to put up with even more rage and helplessness, with the Secret Service coming over to ruin your life even more? I'm sure Piper Chapman in Orange is the New Black would have been better off doing what this woman did rather than turn herself in. See, Mark Dice doesn't fucking think, does he? He doesn't think at all. He has unoriginal ideas. And what sucks for me is Democrats, Republicans, none of them will implement my ideas. None of them will do anything for me.